Welcome to Raw Take, everyone, the lifeline to your unfiltered media experience. I'm your host, Gion Thomas, and before we get into the show today, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. So, this is the recap show of the debate I just had with Destiny. And I'm going to tell everybody right now that it totally subverted my expectations. I did not expect us to actually have a kind of agreement, for us to kind of see eye to eye. So I'm glad we were able to kind of squash this out, man.
I think it feels like we actually agree with each other completely.
I was expecting so much more. I thought it was going to be a long, dragged out fight. I thought it was going to be a heated debate. I've did a lot of research on this guy. I've seen how he's like drugged people through the mud in debates. And it didn't go that way with this. We actually was able to see eye to eye. We were actually able to come to some agreements, and he was able to see my point of view, and I was able to see his point of view. And I was not expecting that. And I think one of the reasons why was because I'm a free speech absolutist. I believe in free speech. And private speech is something that me, nor the government, nor really anyone can dictate or try and control. So with that being said, I would never ever try and control anybody's speech. But I do think things need to be said in proper context. And I do think some communities shouldn't use certain language. But will I try and police that? Will me as a politician try and be like, oh, I'm going to try and govern and regulate what you say? No, I would never do that. I mean, I feel like that's one of the best things that we have here in America. But with that free speech comes rules. Like you can't scream fire in a movie theater. So I think with speech comes responsibility. And I think not misusing words that were once, as Destiny said, slurs, that were once slurs that have now transformed and taken a totally different context. I think that certain communities shouldn't be able to use. It's almost seen as intellectual property, and I think it's cultural intellectual property, because those communities have retaken these words and totally changed the context, the meaning, and the vernacular of really what they mean, and they're just used differently. And I think that to be able to use these words, you really have to have a connectability or a connection to the community that has transformed that word to be able to use that language. It's almost seen, it's like a language barrier. And so I feel like, because he's for private speech, Destiny's for private speech. And I think, and to me, what he said on that live stream was that either anybody can say the N-word or nobody can say the N-word. And that contradicts the private speech argument, because you are now regulating what people are saying. And so I think he kind of ran into, maybe in his head, maybe he saw that, and maybe he was like, well, I can't really, because when I confronted him on it, he was like, no, I'm not trying to make those arguments. And I don't know, I was really taken aback, and I was really at a loss for words, and I'm just very surprised that we were able to just have a meaningful discussion. And I think sometimes when he's on these live streams, I feel like That's like the automatic first thing people go to him with. Like, that's the first thing people attack him with. Like, the N-word. Like, oh, Destiny's here. We got to talk about the N-word. Or we got to talk about the incest thing, like he said in the video. And I think it's just like, whenever you come on and it's like, oh, well, this is what we have to talk about. And it becomes it's like a defense. Oh man, I'm on the defense now. I have to dig in my heels. And I think sometimes when he's digging in his heels, sometimes he can just say some crazy things. But yeah, so we were able to make some ground. I really find that mind-boggling. But I can't say nothing bad about it. I mean, it was a really good experience. It was good. Just iron out these kinks. And I mean, he even said that one of the things that kind of threw me off was how he was like, he does not use the N-word in private. Like I mean, if you watch the clips, there's a million clips out there. It's like he's animate about, like, he makes it seem like he's animate. But in his debate, he was like, no, that's not really who I am. So I don't know, man. Just kind of all over the place. But it was still good. One thing I really wanted to do was answer some questions that we really didn't get to answer during the live stream. So right now, I'm going to just take some time to answer a couple of questions. So the first question is, why is it okay for the black community to say it constructively to each other and other races, but other races can say it, but if a white person says it, it's racist? So from this question, what I'm getting is, why is it okay for the black community and maybe other communities besides the white community to use it, but when a white person says it, it's deemed racist? Well, to this two-part question, I feel like for the first part, like I was trying to say in the debate, that us using that word, that all contributes to the transformation of the word with the ER to the word with the A. And so us using it constructively is part of that transformation process. People don't understand that this is a process with this word, with other words. And we're seeing it in real time. So when black people using it constructively, that is part of the transformation of the word. That is part of us changing what that word means, the context, the meaning, all of that. So when we use it, and even and people have to understand that N-word pass is it's kind of a real thing, but it also has to do with communities that are disenfranchised and that kind of face the system built against them, like the black community, like the Hispanic community, and really poor people in general. I mean, you can make an argument that the N-word with the A is kind of a social economic thing, and that it's used really among communities of poor and struggle. So I think that's why it's able to be used constructively between other communities besides the white community. And I think the white community gets such flack because they created the original term, which caused so much destruction and meant so much destruction and dehumanizing. And so I think, when you don't know what a white person's intent is. You don't know when they can be saying it condescendingly, or they could be using it in a smug way to talk about you. And so I think that's why it's different when a white person says it, and you could just be saying it, oh, I'm getting away with saying it, and you think I'm, it could be it can be used as a way to still demonize people if you don't know the intent of what that person is saying. And so that's why a lot of people in the black community just say white people don't say it, because we don't know what's your initial intent with saying that word. We don't know if you're saying it like a brother or a friend, or if you're trying to use it in a derogatory, demeaning manner. So that's my answer for that question. Okay, so this is the next and final question. If you, without an ounce of a doubt, knew some white, non black person was using it in the new context, a friend of yours, etc., would you be okay with them using it in that case, in private? So, if a friend of mine was using it, I think it would depend upon the friend. Does this friend identify with the struggle, or the struggle? Does he identify with black issues? Does he know what it's like to be a black man? Does he know the history and context of the word? Does he know the difference between the ER and the A? I mean, a lot of this comes into question. What is he using it as? Like, is he just like, yeah, it's just, there's a lot of things that comes into it. And I do have non-black friends who use it. I have Hispanic friends who use it. But those people identify with the struggle. Those people understand. Those people come from social and economic situations that they understand the word. That the word is prevalent in their community and is used in their community by other blacks and Hispanics. So they kind of get that the N-word card, or like some would say. So it depends. It depends on if this person is it depends if this person understands the struggle, if he identifies with the struggle, if he's not just being a what they would say a vulture culture and just trying to use our language but don't believe in black issues. If it was someone like that, then no. I mean, I have friends who I would never want them to say the N-word, and if they said the N-word, it would make me cringe, and I would question them, and I'd be like, why are you saying that? You've never said that before. You've never identified with these struggles before, so why are you now trying to use the language of the oppressed who identifies with these struggles? That would be my question. But like I said before, I would never try and police anybody on what they say in private, because you can't control what people say in private. People say things in private, but you would just hope that you would have people who are your friends and who you identify with, that they would understand not to use language that they don't understand. But I think this was a good debate. I think we really got to work out some kinks, and I think that we really got to explore some new perspectives and see some new things. And I think people really got to see a different side of Destiny. I don't think people got to see that side of him. And maybe we can collaborate more and talk about different issues. I really like to talk about economics and stuff like that, and how we could make this country better and get create more spaces where we can have a battle of ideas, because I think that's what's desperately needed in these times. I think so many people get away with these echo chambers, and they just talk in their echo chambers, and no one ever gets to challenge those ideas. So I'm really looking forward to more stuff like this. And I just want to say thank everybody for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and share out the video, y'all. Thank y'all for watching.